what it's all about. We here at Delaware County Jail about to work with these fathers. It's so important to work with the fathers while they in the county jail, because I believe that one word can change their direction, right? And if they change their direction, the destination can be totally different. This is what it's all about. I remember when I was in 1997, when I was about to go on and do my 10 years in prison, and I was in the county jail, and I remember that that's when my thinking started to shift, where I said that, you know what, I don't want to continue to do this, and not only that, but I want to be there for my son. My son was 3 months old when I got incarcerated, and I was fighting the case for attempted murder, possession of drugs, drug trafficking, and possession of firearms. And I said that, you know what, man, this is my time to start to get myself together and become the individual that I need to be. So that's why I know that doing this county jail work, man, this is the most important work on this whole mission of turning the penitentiary on its head and standing the community on its feet. Man, I'm talking about this is what it's all about, because if we can get them in the beginning, we got something, right? That means that people, they can be going home from here. They can be getting released on bond or whatever. But the beautiful thing about it is, wherever they going, if they going home or they going to the penitentiary to do some time, the beautiful thing about it is this, is that they gonna be able to come in contact with some information that can help them be better fathers. And that's what it's all about. If they better fathers, then you know what the world gonna look like? It's gonna look totally different, because when those children become adults, they're gonna be successful. And that's what you're gonna be able to see in the class, in this video coming up. You're gonna be able to see me teaching these fathers how to establish that strong, positive relationship with their children, right? So then they can go out and establish strong, positive relationship with other people. That's what it's all about. I wouldn't trade nothing. I wouldn't trade this for nothing in the world. It's a Sunday. It's game day. And this is how I get started on my game day. This is how I start game day, like this. This is what it's all about. I'm talking about after this, I'm gonna go and cheer on my Cleveland Browns, and I'm gonna get it in. But right now, the work to be done is about to get done. We at Delaware County Jail, I got the support of administration, because this whole movement, it's all about favor, right? It's like different type of stuff is happening with this. And when I'm going through the hallways and I'm seeing people who have read my books and things like that, and they telling me how that book has made a difference in their life, man, the book is spread all throughout the county jail, right? Like, that stuff is powerful. And that's what I enjoy. And this is what it's all about. Just being able to do the work that's impacting families. I'm not just talking about impacting 1-2 people. I'm talking about impacting families. And if we can impact families in a positive way, then we can really change the world. Let it be done on earth as it is in heaven. It's gonna take our work to be able to create that. We have the ability to be able to do it. Man, we in Delaware County Jail. I'm about to get to it. You see on the name right here, that's Russell Martin, Sheriff Russell Martin. He's over all of this, and he is in support of this mission. Like, straight up, I appreciate that, brother, for just allowing me to be able to come in here and connect with the brothers. They got the interactive audio digital program inside of here. They just do a lot of investing into the population, and it changes the game. So now, with that being said, like, listen, it's about to go down right now. I'm charged up right now. When I get in there, it's about to be on a whole nother level, because that's just the way that it is. Y'all ready? Because I know that I am. Let's get to it. Turn the penitentiary on his head, stay in the community on his feet. What is our main objective? What do you want to do with your child? Like what do you want to give them? What do you want them to have from the relationship that y'all have?
I'm also trying to break those barriers, right? Trying to be a teacher.
Right. So you want to be a teacher, why? Nah. Right, like, don't overthink it, fellas. Don't overthink it. Like, the main thing that you want to do with your children is what? You want to be able to give them the information so that they can put their life together, right? That's what it's all about. Don't you want to be able to guide your children into the direction that you believe that they should be? Don't you believe that you got the experience for them to be able to benefit off of? Right? Do you have more experience than your child? You have to. right? It's just automatic. Like, you've been here for longer than your child has been here. So because you've been here longer than your child has been here, you have a wealth of experience. Don't you want your children to benefit off of your experiences? That means that they can benefit off of your failures, right? Ain't that the idea? You don't want your children to duplicate your failures. I know I don't, right? I want my children to make all new failures in life. I want them to make different errors. I don't want them to make the same errors that I have already made that I know to be an error. So then that's why we want to make sure that we have that positive relationship with our children, because we want to ensure that they do not make the same errors. Because if they make the same errors that we have already made, what that means is that they will not get further than where we are. If they start back there where we started at, where they gonna end up at?
Same place we are.
Don't you want your children to start from where you at and then take it a bit further? Ain't that the idea? That's how you have generations after generations. It don't matter. It'd be generations of people who are incarcerated. It'd be generations of poverty, right? Why is that? Because everybody is starting from where the other one started from. Nobody is starting from where that last person left off at. And that's why you have generations of the same exact thing. People can go down the line and you'll hear it and they'll be like, man, my grandfather was incarcerated. My father was incarcerated. Man, my uncle was incarcerated. Everybody was incarcerated generation after generation, because it was not the relationship that needed to be established to break that cycle. Because people are duplicating the errors. And that's the issue. So that's how important a positive relationship is. So now that's what we focus on, is what? That positive relationship. Because we understand that the way that we're going to be able to get this thing done is through a positive relationship. And guess what, fellas? A positive relationship is reserved for those people who work for it. And that means you got to have the mind to be able to establish that strong positive relationship. If you don't have the mind to establish a strong positive relationship, you will not have one. You will not be able to reap the benefits from a strong positive relationship. You will be left to have a weak relationship. Strong, positive relationships is paradise. Weak relationships are hell. One is filled with neglect. The other is filled with commitment. And that's what this is about, brothers. So when y'all brothers come here and y'all show up, right, that's commitment. Now you just go ahead and continue on that journey and say, man, you know what? Now I'm going to commit to this. Now I'm going to commit to that. Now I'm going to finish this. I'm going to start it and I'm going to finish it. I say I am and I'm going to do it, right? It starts now. It don't start tomorrow. It starts now. But if you take the low road now, guess what? You'll take the low road in something else. And then you'll take the low road in something else. It just continues to infect the rest of your life. If you take the high road now, you'll take the high road in something else. And then you take the high road in something else, and then something else. And then your life will look like you are that individual who has taken the high road. That's what it's all about. So then that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we have that mindset that we need to serve the relationship between us and our children. Everything that we're talking about is just becoming conscious of what we are doing as fathers, as parents, and making sure that we are developing our children in the right way, establishing that relationship with them, so that in turn they can go out there and establish a strong relationship with other people, and then they're going to get they're going to have the influence that is necessary to get the opportunities that they desire. My brother said, he was like, man, you got what you say, 13 to 22 years old, right? And he was like, man, I wish I had this. Back in the days when I had my first child, when I was 17 years old, when I had my first child, right? Like, this would have helped me to be able to go at this great responsibility in the best way. That's the way that it is, brothers. Like, I tell right now, I'm the best father that I've ever been with my 5-year-old daughter. Why? Because she's getting something totally different than my 24-year-old got. than my 13-year-old got. Now my 5-year-old is getting a whole different type of father. Why? Because I get better. Why do I get better? Because I focus on getting better. Anything that you are good at, it is wise to become better at, so you can become great. You have never got to the level where you can just kick up your feet. There's always room for improvement. So now the way that I go at the parenting is different than the way that I went at it when I was, 19 years old. I didn't really understand what the job was. But now that I understand the job, it's totally different. I understand what's at stake. So we can't cry over spilled milk. What do? We take advantage of right now. You pour everything into the right now. I remember I said, because I turned 43 in March, and it was like, man, dang, man, you getting old. I said, no, I'm not. I'm getting seasoned. I ain't getting old. I said, man, I'm going to take all of my 42 years, and I'm going to pour that puppy all into year 43. Man, 43 about to be phenomenal. That means I'm going to take my successes, I'm going to take my failures, and I'm going to invest that into year 43. How can year 43 not be like great? I'm going to take all of that experience, it's a wealth of experience, and I'm going to pour it all into year 43. It's about to be phenomenal. So I go into year 43 looking at it a bit differently than somebody who's looking at it and saying, man, I'm getting old, man, I can't even hardly walk anymore. I'm going in that puppy energized, like, man, you know what I'm about to do with year 43? Different ball game. So then that's what we're going to do with this information. So now when we get this information, what are we going to say? Man, you know how I'm about to go ahead and start my parenting from this day forward? It's going to be something totally different. I've come in contact with information that can change my direction. And if I change my direction, then my destination will be completely different. The destination of my children will be completely different because I made the decision to change my direction. You can change your direction with one word. You can change your direction overnight. Yeah, you can't reach that destination until maybe 5 years from now, maybe 10 years from now. But the best chance that you have to reach that destination is if you change your direction. Everything about this parenting piece is just getting us to think, then do. But all of those other years, what was you doing? You was doing. You was doing, right? You was just on autopilot, just doing. And if we do and then think, where we gonna be at in life? I'm just gonna do. And then I'm gonna think. I'm just gonna go to Alaska. I go to Alaska, I'll just go. And then when I get there, I'll be like, man, I don't like the cold. I'm not even a cold type of person. I want it to be tropical, right? Well, I should have thought about that before I made the trip to Alaska. I should have understood, man, what Alaska had to offer, and then I might not would have made the decision to go to Alaska. But now I gotta waste the time to get back to point A, so now I can redirect myself and go to a place that I wanna go, to a place that I wanna be at. So that's what we wanna do. We wanna think and then go. With our children, we want to think and then do. We don't want to do and then think. And so often that's what we do. When we don't have the information circulating around in our heads to be strong enough, our minds to be strong enough to think and then do. So what we do is we just do and then think. And then we deal with the fallout, the consequences, because we done just did and we didn't think. When we screamed at our children, we didn't think about what we were doing, because if we was thinking about what we were doing when we were screaming at them, then we would understand that, hold up, I'm about to put my child in a vulnerable place because they will lack the confidence that they're gonna need. And when people see that they lack the confidence, they will be vulnerable to the society. If people really thought what they were doing with their children, would they really do the things that they do when they tell their children that I'm gonna be there and then they don't be there? Did they really think what that does to their children? They don't. So then that's why they do it. Because they're not thinking. That's what separates you from the animals. That's what separates the human being from the animals, is our ability to think, is our mind. Our mind is what separates us from the animal kingdom. That's why we rule the land, because we have been given the mind. That means that we can change directions. We don't have to just say, man, I'm about to go, I'm gonna fly south for the winter. We can say, man, I'm gonna go west because it's more advantageous over there in the west. So that means you can be doing something one way all of your life, but as a human being, because you've been given a mind, you can say, I'm not about to do it like that no more. You can be doing life a certain way for so long, and you have a mind that says, I'm not about to do it like that no more. I'm not about to put myself in that situation no more. And you can literally stop it. What can make you do anything but your mind? Your mind is your greatest tool. So then that's why you use your mind to serve the relationship between you and your children. So it can be strong, so we can have the influence, so we can transfer the information that is necessary so then they can do life at a high level. So then they can be assets. Don't you want to give society assets? Don't you want to be responsible for giving society an asset and not a liability? Like your children will add value to people around them? Don't you want to be that person that is responsible for that? When people come to you and they say, man, I'm glad you raised your children the way that you did. Your children offer so much to our company. Your children offer so much to the relationship. Your children offer so much. The person that your children is just phenomenal. And I'm just appreciative of what you have done, your commitment. Don't you want that conversation? That's what it's all about. I know I want that conversation. Because if I'm getting that conversation, then I know that my children are in a good place. That's all it's about. So that's why we go through these classes, we peel back the layers, we start to understand then what type of father that we're going to deliver to our children. Remember, that's the first thing that we talked about. That was the first building block to establishing the foundation of a strong, positive relationship. It was saying, man, I got to first understand what type of father that I'm going to deliver to my children. That means that when I'm doing this job, I'm going to do this job in a way to where I'm thinking about the way that I'm going to interact with my children. I'm letting them know that they matter that much where I'm going to give it some thought. Is that so easy to do or no? Hold up, why not? It's not easy to think about what type of father that you're going to give to your children. Why is that easy? What's the challenge of you just sitting down in your chair and thinking about what type of father that you will give to your children?
I know my father, I want to be something.
Who thinks it's easy to just think about what type of father that I'm going to give to my children?
Yeah, I know what kind of father I want to be and how I want to be with my children, my daughter. I ain't grow up. I grew up without a father, so like I know I always want to be there for my daughter and be the father that I never had.
Okay, so what is that? How does that look? What's the father that you never had? What does that look like?
My father died when I was 3 months pregnant.
Okay.
So like, I really like, I grew up off my mom for real. seen how she was going through with her other baby dads and stuff, like, and they was never there for my brothers and sisters, so I'm like, when I had a kid, I knew I was going to always be there. Like, make sure she had what she need, and taught her stuff that I wasn't taught.
Right.
Like that.
So what does that look like? So, like, tell me actionable things that you're gonna be doing. How old is your child? How old is your daughter? 3 years old, right? So now tell me actionable things that you're about to be doing with your daughter, as far as the relationship is concerned. What does being there look like? What are you gonna do?
Going places with her, giving her stuff to remember, like, always, like, doing stuff with her, like, go to museums, go to, like...
Okay, there we go. Because I want specifics, right? Okay, so you say one thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make sure that I go to the museum with it, right?
Go to museums, like, take her on little dates, interact with her.
Okay. So then I understand. So now you're saying I'm gonna take her on dates. These are things that you're gonna do as far as with your daughter. What other things are you going? How else are you going to be with your daughter?
Teach her how to carry herself.
See, so now, good, thanks, man. So now, when we think about it, when we thinking about, man, what type of father that we gonna deliver to our children, remember, what do we gotta do? We gotta reflect. Remember, we gotta reflect. What do we reflect on? That's where we start at. So what is the positive interaction that you had when you were younger with your parents, with your mother? Anything. What did she do to produce, man, that made you feel like, man, you know what? I feel good. Like, I appreciate you. You know, like, I love you for that.
Can we cut clothes on my back? Can we?
So the clothes. Did she let you pick out the clothes sometime?
Sometimes.
Okay, when she let you pick out the clothes, how did you feel? You felt happy. So now, what that is saying, and I'm telling you, this is a challenge. What this is saying is that now with your daughter, you're going to allow her to pick out her clothes. That's a challenge like a mother, because my father allowed me to pick out my clothes, and now I do it with my daughter. But with my daughter picking out her clothes, sometimes that stuff take a little bit long. But I still let her pick out her clothes, and it frustrates me at times, but I still allow her to pick out her clothes because I know the freedom that has and how you feel when you have the ability to make the decision to pick out your clothes. So I intentionally allow my daughter to pick out her clothes. And you know how she feels in the morning? It'd be good. She'd be like, yeah, Dad, I'm good. And I'll be like, man, dang, that stuff don't match at all. And when her mom sees her in this stuff, she's going to be talking to me about, man, what you got our daughter in. And it's like, man, that's what she picked out. That's what she wanted to wear. So I give my daughter the ability to make that decision because that decision was given to me. I'm just duplicating that positive. And I remember how I felt when I had the ability to be able to make my decision. I wanted to get the Converses, the Magic Johnsons. They was yellow and purple. They didn't go with anything, but I still wanted them because Magic Johnson was my guy. My father still supported my decision, and he bought those Magic Johnsons for me. He didn't say, man, you're going to get what I want you to have. I'm going to get you what you say that you want. So when I'm determining what type of father that I want to be to my children, I'm pulling from what? From my experience, my past experiences. And that's what you have to do. You got to go back and you got to think about those small things. No matter how small you think that they might be, they will go a long way when you duplicate them in your own parenting and give those small positive things to your children. You just build on that stuff, right? That's how you do. You just build on it. Because if you're not building on the positive, what are you doing? You building on the negative. And after that negative stacks up and stacks up and stacks up, the relationship will look like it. So now, once you're looking at the positive, now what you must do? Now you must identify and resist the negative, right? You must identify and resist the negative. So now when I ask you what was the negatives that you had with your parents growing up, what were they?
get what I asked for.
That was the negative? Was it you not getting what you asked for, or was it more of you felt like that you wasn't heard when you was asking for what you was asking for? Right. Because a lot of times we just want to be heard. So now that's what I do. And I found that out too. My daughter wants to do a whole bunch of things, right? And when she says, Dad, man, hey, can I drive the car? And I tell her, like, daughter, you 5, man, you can't be driving the car. And I explained to her why she can't drive the car. Now she wants to drive the car, and I said no, but once I explained it to her, she's okay with that. But she knows that I did at least listen to her saying that she wanted to drive the car. And I gave her the floor to explain to me why she believed that she's old enough to drive the car.
You mean to tell me you've never let your little girl drive your car?
You know what I did? And my father, he got on me about it. Because he seen it on video.
I got 3 girls and all of them drove the car.
I'm telling you, he got on me about it. You know what I did? Because she said, let me drive the car. This is on video on Facebook. What I did is I said, man, you know what? We can push the car, right? So my father said, it's on video where you see me and her in the back. It's in neutral, and we pushing the car up the driveway. And she's like, Dad, look, I'm pushing it. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you pushing it. But I'm intentional about what I'm doing, brothers. Like, I'm dead serious. So she's pushing the car. 5 years old. This was just a couple of weeks ago. She's pushing the car. I'm pushing it, right? And we moving it closer and closer to the garage. My father was like, man, Children's Services is gonna come take that child from me. I said, Pop, man, like, she cool, man. Like, we cool. But I was telling my father that what I was doing with her is that I want her to believe that she can do whatever. She can do anything if she puts her mind to it. Was she really pushing the car? No, because it was more me pushing the car. But she thought that she was pushing the car. So I want her to start to go at things like that in life when she gets older and older. I want her to have the mind to say, man, nothing outside of me can stop me. If I put my mind to it, I can get it done. I want her to have that type of mind. So when she's pushing a 5-ton vehicle, and she's like, yeah, I'm strong, Dad. I'm super daughter. Because I call her super daughter. I'm super dad, right? When I go into the daycare, pick her up, I'm like super dad. All of the kids inside of the daycare, when I come in, I'm talking about it's mayhem, completely pandemonium, right? I come in that puppy and everybody stop what they doing. And they like, super dad, super dad. I'll be like, what up, though? Super dad is in the building. And they be like, hey, super dad. The kids just be so excited to be able to converse with an adult, and an adult like giving them their space, their time, right? When I look at them in their eyes and they be like, man, you respecting me as an individual. So then they love being around me. They love seeing me. I love that, and my daughter loves the way that her friends inside of the school respond to me. It strengthens the relationship. But remember, I'm intentional about what I'm doing, because I used to love when my friends responded to my father that way, when my father was the all-time quarterback out there, and they were just excited to be a part of the game with my father out there. My father made himself accessible to me and my friends. So when I'm going to the daycare, guess what I'm doing? I'm making myself accessible to my daughter and her friends. I'm intentional about what I'm doing. I'm thinking about what I'm doing, and I'm delivering. Like, that's what it takes. That stuff is powerful, brothers. I'm not even playing. Like, every time I go into that school, and the teachers be like, dang, man, this brother here, he come up in here and they just get all charged up because they might be getting ready to go take a nap or something like that, and they see me, they like, super dad, hey, what's up, super dad? Like, can you fly? And they be asking me all kind of questions, and I'll be like, man, I don't fly. I walk everywhere that I go, and I drive. I'm like, but I get it done. I'm super dad, and they be like, hey, no, man, But they be excited to see me, and I see the way that my daughter is when she sees the way that her friends are. Because her friends just go to her and say, man, you got one cool dad. It makes her feel good about me. It's like she be showing me off. Look what my dad can do. My dad gonna chase us around. My dad to get out there on the playground and be the lava monster. My dad is going to get on the slip and slide, which I do. I get on the slip and slide and I hit that puppy about 30 miles an hour. like that outside in the backyard. Got the trampoline back there. I got the slip and slide. When it's a family function, I'm on the slip and slide and I'm going over. It's a long slip and slide. I go over the end part where it's like the little bumper, and you'll see me flipping in the grass, right? And I'm like, man, that's just the way that I do. I do everything at high energy. She like, man, hey, the other adults, man, they like, man, my brothers and stuff, they like, man, I ain't doing that, man. I ain't about to do that, man. I ain't about to be looking all crazy, man. And I'm like, man, I don't care how I look. I got a mission to accomplish.
Like we get.
Right? We can't be concerned about what other people are thinking. Remember what we said. What other people are thinking is none of our business. It's what we know. And what I do know is the father that I want to deliver to my children. And I want to deliver a father that is accessible to my children and their friends. I don't want to be this stiff dad that's too cool, gangster. I don't want to be no gangster dad, like gangster. Like, you know, I'm not going to tell my kids, man, hey, you want to go pull a drive-by? Sometimes we be too cool, right? Like, I don't want to be that type of father. I want to be a father that's fun. So that's why I do the things that I do. But that's important. So that was the first building block, is just understanding what type of father that we want to deliver to our children. After we understood what type of father that we want to deliver to our children, the next thing that we did was what? Understanding what type of adults that we want our children to grow into. So to be a good decision maker, what do they got to understand? The consequences. Because what do you live with in life? Do you live with a decision?
No.
You live with what? So if I know that I gotta live with the consequences, what I must do is invest all of my energy, all of the knowledge that I have into understanding what the consequence is. And I gotta say, am I okay with that consequence? And if it's a no, then guess what my decision is going to be? Something that supports what I understand. If you're not okay with the consequence, brother, then that means don't do it. If you say, man, I'm not okay with the consequence of man being incarcerated, I'm not okay with the consequence of being separated from my family, I'm not okay with the consequence of me being in the grave earlier than I was supposed to be in the grave, I'm not okay with those consequences for somebody else raising my children. Oh my gosh, I wasn't okay with that consequence. When I thought about, man, somebody else giving my son the information that I need to be giving him, I said, hold up, no way. I need to be in place giving my son that information because I know that I'm gonna give him high quality information. Somebody else might not care about him at the way that I care about him. I trust my information more than I just trust anybody else's information. Hey, if you want to do a job right, you do it what? If you want a job done right, then you do it yourself. I wasn't confident in somebody else doing my job because I said, man, they mess around and have them out there selling dope. They'll mess around and have them out there holding on to guns. They mess around and have them out there throwing up the set until they realize the set ain't gonna be there. Wow. So I wasn't okay with those consequences. And because I wasn't okay with those consequences, it reflected in my decisions. So when you see me inside of the joint from 19 to 29 years old, and people would say, man, Los, the only thing you care about is your son. I'll be like, man, hey, whatever you want to say, brother, but I ain't got no time to be sitting up there playing around with you, brother. Like, you want to get into a fight over there with such and such, brother, I don't want to see it. I'm not about to be a part of it. Brother, you do what you do, brother. That's on you. Y'all brothers read the book. Y'all seen the one chapter when the one brother who I was, man, drinking coffee and Kool-Aid with, we was making breaks and stuff, we was kicking it. We was cool. When he wanted to fight that young dude, that older dude who was about 135 and he was 270, I said, brother, you do that on your own, brother. I'm not about to go in the bathroom and watch you fight him. Other people went in there and watched the fight. when that dude ended up cutting him up like crazy, and he needed 500 stitches to put him back together because he put the razor blade inside of the dang on toothbrush and sliced that brother up. The brothers who went in there to watch the fight, they said, man, I can't not allow my good brother to get busted up like that. I'm going to help him out. So what they did is they said, I'm going to take a mop handle and hit the brother across the head with the mop handle to try to get him to release the blade. And the brother never did release the blade until he finished the mission. Boom, 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 boom. The brother came out of the bathroom and he like, what the heck you did to my face? And I was at my TV and I said, brother, I don't see nothing. I see no evil. I hear no evil. I speak no evil. I don't know what happened. So when they come asking questions, I don't know what happened. That's none of my business. Brother, you do what you want to do, because I understood that I didn't want to live with the consequence of not being there for my son. You see what I'm saying? So it helped make my decision to stay in my bed area and watch my TV. The other people who went in there, they was busting the dude across the head with the mop handle, they got extra cases. They had to do additional time. The brother who cut him up had to do additional time, assault charges on all of them. Additional time, that means that they were going to be away from their children for longer. The person who got cut up and had to get stitched back together with the 500 stitches, he went home on time. Do you think he reached out to any of those people, children, who helped him out?
Nope.
Did he even accept their calls when they would call? Did he send them any money orders in? Did he send them any food boxes and clothes boxes? Any of that? See, that's when I started to say, man, you know what? I'm good with my consequence. So I'm good with the consequence of somebody saying, man, Los don't care about nothing but his kid. I'm good with that. I'm good. Like, I'm good with that. I'm just not good with not being there for my son at that time. That was the decision that I made. And I can stand on that. If you can't stand on it, brother, then you got to question what the heck you standing on. Literally, if you can't stand on it. When you sit up there and say, man, you know what, I'm holding down the block, and if you can't stand on that stuff, you got to think about that stuff. You got to be like, hold on, man, what does that sound like? Because the block isn't holding me down, and I'm sitting up there holding down the block. I'm continuing to be this person that is accepted by a block that's not there for me, that's not there for the things that matter to me, and I'm going to sit up there and say it with a straight face. Just think about that. That should steer the way that you make your decisions, right? So I want my children to be good decision makers. The next thing I want them to do is I want them to be self-regulated. Why? Because I believe that the people who regulate themselves, they'd be in premier situations, understanding what needs to be done and getting that stuff done. Game time, right? I want them to regulate themselves. I also want my children to be individuals who bring value back to the table. Why is that so important, fellas? Do you want to be around somebody who has something to offer? Anything. I can have some information. I can know how to establish a credit. I can know how to make investments in the stocks and things like that. I can know how to make I can know how to go down to the courthouse and get a shared parenting plan without no lawyer, without no filing fees. I can tell you how to, overcome prison, right? Would you find me valuable to be around?
No.
Because I have something to offer. I want my children to be the type of character that prides themselves on bringing something to the table. Right? If that's what you would like, then why not give the same thing that you would like? If you would like somebody to bring something to the table when they come to you, then why not be that type of individual that brings something to the table? It can change the dynamics of your life. So I want my child to be that type of adult to be that type of character that looks for ways to bring value back to the table. A strong relationship is a relationship with reciprocity. I want them to have that mindset and say, man, what can I offer? Not what can I get, not what can I take? Like when y'all brothers come here to these classes, y'all bring you. That's all you can do is bring you. Bring your attention. When you bring your attention, that does something for me. When I give you my information and brothers give me their attention, your focus, that does something for me. It makes me feel like that what I'm saying is valuable. It gives me it encourages me to continue to go out there and get more stuff to bring back to you, to put the message together even more clearer. The more that the message is getting put together more clearer, the more clarity it becomes for me. It becomes more clearer for me. And I can use the information. You see how that works? Say you ain't got nothing to offer, then you will never give anything. But if you say that I have something to give, you will find ways to give something, even if it's just your attention. So I want my children to be individuals that bring value back to the table because I know that they will be attractive. I also want my children to be individuals that do their best. Why is that important? Because if they do their best, then I know that they're going to get their best results. That's what it's all about, right? And that's a character. I don't want them to do stuff. I want them to do it, man, to the best of their ability. All you can do is all you can do. At the end of the day, all you can do is enough. But you just got to ensure that you are doing all that you can do. So then that's what it's all about. I want my children to be individuals that do their best, right? So then we get that stuff accomplished. How? We encourage the behavior. We tell them exactly what they did that was right. Remember that? Right? It's specific. Encouragement is specific. So it's telling them exactly what they did that was right, how it benefited the situation, how it's going to benefit them in the future. So when my daughter sits up here and she's coloring with inside of the lines and I'm encouraging the behavior because I know that she's taking her time and she's doing her best and I want her to duplicate that character trait so it can become a part of her character, I'm going to encourage that behavior. I'm going to say, daughter, I see that you're doing your best. Man, wow, I'm telling her exactly what she's doing. Now I'm gonna tell her how it's going to benefit the situation. Man, you doing your best, man, that picture looks phenomenal. I'm about to put that puppy on the refrigerator. And she's like, yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah, Dad, wait until I get to the next picture, right? Yeah, no doubt, man. And then I'm gonna tell her how it's going to benefit her in the future. Daughter, man, you keep on doing your best, man, I'm telling you, man, you're going to get the best results in life and you are going to be successful as an adult. Your life will be a life of pleasure. Keep on doing what you're doing. Now she has an understanding of what it is that she's doing. And because she has an understanding of what it is that she's doing, she can duplicate that. This is a science, man. Your children will try to continue to come back to you to show you what they can do. You know, they always do that. My daughter be doing cartwheels. Dad, watch this cartwheel. Boom. Dad, hold on, watch this.
Time for shoot or something.
Dad, look at this.
Hey, Dad, I can do my hair now.
Dad, look at what I can do. Look at what I can do. Look at what I can do. Dad, look at me, look at me. Now just imagine if you have the mind to instill the character traits that you want them to have and they are going to be looking to please you. That's what it was all about at first until it just becomes a part of their character. When they are looking for different ways to do their best, they're doing it on the grounds of just trying to please you. Because they say, oh, this got that response from Dad? Watch when I do it again. Watch this, Dad. And then they say, hey, Dad, watch this again. And you continue to give it to them. Wow, man, you doing your best. Boom, this is why it's benefiting the situation. This is how it's going to benefit you in the future. And they continue to find ways to do it, and then it just becomes a part of their character. Game time. Does that make sense? Fellas, you are taking the wheel of the development of your children. Literally, you are saying you are going to have what I believe that you need to be successful. As your father, it is my responsibility to give you the things that I believe that you need to be successful. It's on me. And then get it done. That's what it's about. And that's when you can be like, wow, look at these jokers here. Look at these jokers here. When I see my son, my 24-year-old, and he's just, man, keeping his house together, he got his vehicles, he's married, you know how that stuff make me feel? Like he's there with with my grandchildren, and his son is following him all around. He's been through the class too, so he knows this stuff, right? So it just feels good. I'm telling you, brothers.
So it's good when they're that age, and they still come to you for meeting.
And they still come to you. I was down there because he also has a child. He had a child before he had got married, right? He has 3 children. I'm the grandfather of 3 grandchildren, right? But he had a child before he got married, right? And it was, and guess what? I had to take him down to the courthouse and let him know, brother, this is how you get a shared parenting plan. I walked him through the process, and he says, Dad, man, I appreciate this stuff because I didn't even know how to get this done. And with you being here, giving me that information, see why it's so important to be a student and learn? Because when you learn, you have the ability to teach. You can offer people the stuff that is necessary to help make their life a little bit more pleasant.
Even if they're not your kids, like.
No doubt.
Like my daughter, she's 20 years old. I'm got a grandbaby with her, and like her boyfriend is the same way. And I'm like, listen, just in case this doesn't work out, like you guys need to do exactly what you said. Go down to the courthouse.
Absolutely.
She's like, Dad, well, I don't know how to do that. She's like, but you do.
Right.
Let's go.
Right.
Let's do this.
Right. Right. It's going to be things from this class you're going to be able to take to other people. You're going to be able to take to your children. You're going to be able to take to other people. Just this conversation that we've been having. This conversation that I had when I was in the joint that still play in my head right now. Right? That's what it's all about. That's why you always want to put yourself in a position to be able to learn. Right? So now, fellas, after we done peeled back those 2 layers, now this 3rd layer that we're going to peel back to establishing a strong, positive relationship with our children, which is necessary, is none other than the art of listening. Why is listening so important in the communication process?
Because if
You don't listen, you're gonna get that knowledge.
you don't understand, you know.
Oh, understanding of who? If you're not listening to me, then you're not going to have no understanding of who?
You.
Of me. If you don't have no understanding of me, how are you going to handle me?
Not.
You'll try.
But you're winging it though.
You're winging it, right? You're handling me based on what information? The information that you got in your own head. So then that means you're going to give me what you think that I should have. And when you give it to me, I'm like, man, you ain't been listening to me? That's not what I want. I'm telling you, that's not what I need right now. And you giving me what you believe that I should have. And that's what creates the conflict between me and you. Because I'm like, man, Joker, you ain't even taking the time to listen to me. You giving me hot water, and I'm sitting up there telling you I just ran a mile and I need cold water. I'm not trying to make no tea. I'm not trying to make no coffee. I want cold water to refresh myself. But you haven't taken the time to listen, and when you present to me the hot water, what am I going to feel like when you come to me with the hot water?
Listen.
I'm like, man, hold up. I'm telling you, I just ran a dang on, what do they call a triathlon? A triathlon. What is they called? A triathlon?
It's marathon.
It's a marathon, and then it's
Triathlon.
a triathlon is like, that's the bikes. Oh, that's the bikes, the triathlon.
Run, swim, and bike. Yeah.
Well, I told you, I said, man, you know what, man, I just did a triathlon, man, in the hot weather, man, and I'm telling you this, and you're not listening to me, and you're off somewhere else, right? And you say, yeah, Los, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get you this hot water, man, so you can make some tea.
Well, why would you want to eat?
Right. But if you was listening to me, and then you would say that you was going to offer me a beverage, what you gonna come to me with?
Gatorade.
Ice water, right? Because you got an understanding of me. So why is listening so important? Listening is important because nothing says that you are there for a person more than just to listen. Doesn't take any money to listen.
No.
But it's so difficult though. How many people in society simply don't listen to one another? You see the conflict that's going on in the world, why is that? Because people ain't listening to each other.
About 80%.
That's why you see the fights, that's why you see all of the stuff that's going on, because nobody is taking the time to listen to one another. And people are getting frustrated because they feel disrespected. They say, man, why are you giving me hot water when I want cold water? I am upset with you. And because I'm upset with you, it's a barrier between me and you now. Now the communication breaks down. Nothing says that you are there for a person more than just to listen. Listening is a lost art. You got people getting paid $180 an hour as psychiatrists. They're not coming up with no solutions for real, are they?
Just listen.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I ain't about to do that, brothers. That probably would have collapsed. It's 2:30 over here, man. I'm 2:30, man. I don't think I could have supported this 2:30, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to figure out, man. That was something that happened in my childhood that just continues to haunt me, man. And I think that that's why it prevents me from being able to work out my relationships in the right way. I think it's the abandonment that happened back then that impacts my relationships now.
Why do you feel that way?
When I was just, it was just that, I mean, because I continue to see them in them. Like I'm making both of them the same person. And that person isn't even the same person.
Is that how you really feel?
I don't even think that it's right. I feel like that, but it doesn't make any sense.
I understand that.
Right? Oh my gosh! What is that? Who came up with the answers?
You did.
Did you come up with the answers?
Nope.
You just helped me to continue to talk. As you help me to continue to talk, I'm figuring out the answers for myself. So a psychiatrist is getting paid $180 an hour just to listen because people don't have nobody to listen to them. When they was coming up in their household with their parents, the parents didn't take the time to listen to them. So now they thirst for somebody to just listen to them. Listening is important because it makes you feel like you matter. If somebody don't listen to you, how do you feel? Like you don't matter to that individual. Nothing says that you are there for a person more than just to listen. So then that's what I tell my children. If you see somebody who don't listen to you, they are telling you that they don't care about you and they are going to mishandle you. That's the indicator for you to go ahead and get away from them because it's not going to turn out nice when you are with that individual. People will be in relationships with people who don't listen to them. And that's why they are getting mishandled. And they thinking that that person is going to change, but that person is letting them know, I don't care about you. That's why I don't listen to you. Nothing says that you are there for a person more than just to listen.
But even then, just listening, like you're saying with a therapist, like they're being paid to listen to you. Like, and in reality, it's like, do they even care what you're saying? like, this brother over here is talking about this, and, you know, my other patient over here is talking about this, you know, and in reality, I'm just here because I want to collect that $180 an hour just to listen.
And this is crazy.
Can they hurry up, like, lunch is here in like 25 minutes, like.
So that's letting you know, you don't even got to really care. As long as you go through the motions, it gives that person the thought that you care. You know one thing that they said, you ain't even got to really find something funny, but if you just laugh, it will reduce, it will produce some type of, man, like chemicals in your body that actually makes you feel good. It's crazy. You can sit up there and just start laughing, just giggling. And you just start giggling, right? Like, and it will produce chemicals. It's crazy. That'll make you feel good. The same thing with listening, brother. It's just like listening is that. It's just saying that, hey, I'm just going to give you the floor. That's it. And what I get from you is that you're there and allowing me to talk, right? So us understanding how important that listening piece is, and we're gonna establish a strong, positive relationship with our children, we gotta understand what does that look like? Because a lot of times we don't know what it looks like, what listening really looks like, right? So how can I show my children, or anybody for that matter, how can I show them that I am listening to them? What are the things that I can do?
Give your undivided attention, stop what you're doing.
Okay, what does that look like? Okay, first stop what you're doing. What does that look like? Eye contact. What else? Responding. Who agree with that? Responding?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, cool.
Not necessarily like words, but just like, yeah, all right, I see what you know what I'm saying? Kind of
Right.
like, just don't interrupt them, just, you know, kind of let them know you want, you know, you're engaging with them.
What they're talking about.
Right. Okay, cool. So just short phrases.
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt.
Right.
I understand. I dig it. Most definitely. Absolutely. Okay. Right. Just those short phrases will encourage you to continue to talk. So eye contact, short phrases. What about empathetic facial expressions?
Yes.
If somebody says something exciting, how would your facial expressions look?
Exciting, surprise.
What would that look like? Like, for real? Right? Like, right. For real? Wow. Right. What about naming what they might be feeling? Right? All of these things we can do to just encourage somebody to continue to talk, because we are letting them know that we are tapped into what they are saying, because what? We care about who they are, and we trying to get an understanding, right? So now I'm gonna name what they feeling. Oh man, you must have been excited. I'm not taking over the conversation. I'm just letting them know, oh, you must have been excited. Yeah, man, I was excited. That stuff was beautiful. Absolutely, right? So now, what do we discuss? We said we want to do the eye contact. We want to do the short phrases, empathetic facial expressions, right? Empathetic. Name what they might be feeling. What about summarizing what they saying? Just summarize what they saying. Oh man, yeah, no doubt. Oh man, Green Day. If my son is coming home and he just won Green Day, it's like, wow, man, Dad, man, I won Green Day today. Green Day? For real? Wow, you must be excited, right? All of those things that I'm doing is just to encourage him to continue to talk, because he knows that I'm paying attention, right? Summarizing what's being said. What about nod your head? Nod your head. Look, fellas, man. This listening piece, it should be theatrical. I'm just being honest with you. It should look theatrical. Go ahead and talk to me real quick.
So how did they
No, just tell me a story. Just give me a story, just a quick story or whatever. Just a story or something. Oh,
I
something.
went to the store and I seen these kids stealing out the store today.
For real? Wow.
Yeah, man, I seen, when I come out the store, I almost seen something happen to someone.
I know that must have been terrible.
Yeah, man.
No doubt. Talk, brother, talk. Give me a story. story, brother. I know you coming with it. Give me a story, a big old story, brother. I don't care what it is on Baker, Mayfield, whatever you want to do.
I woke up this morning knowing it was gang day.
Right.
You know, I know how to get the classy swells.
No doubt.
I know the Brown gang.
Hey man, I remember when I was doing game days, man, before I had got incarcerated. When I got incarcerated, I was doing game days, man. The stuff was crazy, man. That stuff was ridiculous, man. You should have seen the way that it was. What was you saying?
Cowboys, man. They Cowboys right there.
Man, I mean, the Browns is really my team, man. The Browns, you should see the way that they be playing, man. When they doing their thing, man, that stuff is a beautiful thing, man. I'm telling you, man, the Browns is beautiful. Well, yeah, go ahead, what you saying?
They're both decent teams.
Yeah, no doubt.
Play 4:30 today.
No doubt, yeah.
Guys might have a good chance to win.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, man, like, I just really want to see, man, you know, what's going on with the Browns, man. How do you feel about this conversation, brother?
Listen,
Entertain my thoughts or ideas.
Is it a disconnect between me and you?
Yeah, cut me off. Put it in your perspective.
And this is what happens all the time. Like, people take over the conversation. So then that's what you don't want to do, is take over the conversation. A lot of times people, you'll tap into something that means something. Somebody will say something that means something to you, or something that you've been through. You got to be disciplined enough not to take over the conversation and tell them about your experiences and give that person the ability to continue to get out what they talking about. That's what listening is. But if you come to me like that, and I'm always like that, are you going to continue to come to me and talk to me?
I mean, yeah, I understand. That's the problem I got too. So,
So you like, man, this is what we do. You like, this is what we do. Like, this is cool. Like, you like, and nobody has an understanding of each other. But you like, man, that's cool. Rather than dysfunction, right? You don't want, right? So then that's what you don't want, right? So then that's what you don't want, because what happens is that people is gonna be like, man, dang, I can't get nothing out. I can't even talk to the brother. Like, they don't know nothing about me because you always taking over the conversation. Brother, I didn't have that happen to me in the middle of class. But because I teach it, it restricts my behavior. But it was tempting. Somebody was talking about, man, like, man, y'all had to go down there to the course and get a shared parenting plan, man. And I wanted to go in there and be like, I almost started. I was like, he was like, man, yeah, man. And then he was like, man, I had to, man, because I wasn't about to give up the rights to my children, man. I was going to parent. I was like, man, I'm telling you, I was about to go in because I went through the same thing. And I remember the time when he was talking about it, I had to stop. And I went into my mode and was like, wow, no doubt. Yeah, I know you was frustrated. Exactly. I understand, right? And when I went into that mode, at the end of it, and I started to discuss about listening, I told him that I had a brain fart to where I was about to go ahead and get into it, like, you know, and tap in and take over the conversation. But I stopped myself because I understood that if I took over the conversation, it would weaken the relationship between him and I. Why? Because he doesn't have a chance to express himself. Everybody wants to express themselves. If you can't express yourself, you don't feel good around that individual. What about this? Labeling. Will that create some negative feelings inside of you? If somebody labeled you, if somebody said, oh man, you dumb. What is you, stupid? You lazy. So when we talk to our children like that, guess what happens? It creates a negative feeling inside of them, which creates the barrier, because you just came at them and labeled them and tell them what they are. These are the don'ts in the listening process. We understand the do's, we understand the don'ts, right? All right, cool. So now that we got all of that locked in, right, I want to get somebody to go ahead and exhibit what we've just covered, right? Ready? All right, cool. I'm coming to you, you my dad, and I'm coming to you. I just came home. I got Green Day. I didn't know I was gonna be able to get Green Day. I got Green Day. I'm excited. I've been trying to get Green Day.
Before you go any further, what the hell is Green Day?
Okay, yeah, Green Day is just it's an event at the school where I'm able to answer all of the questions. If I answer all of the questions on Green Day, then I get to pass out the candy on Friday, right? The kids who get to pass out the candy on Friday, they get extra candy at the end. So then that's why everybody be so excited about winning Green Day. So I done won Green Day because I was able to answer all of the questions right in my class. So I won Green Day. I haven't been able to win it all throughout the year. I've been trying to get it done. I'm coming home and I'm telling you about me winning Green Day. All right?
Okay.
Hey, Dad.
What's up, son?
Like, man. First of all, man, are you really my biological dad? Like, let's make it different. like, you sure?
You don't need your mind,
Did you take a DNA test on me?
I don't remember, but see that.
All right, Dad. Hey, listen, man. Hey, I won Green Day today. I was able to win Green Day. I've been trying to win it all year at school, and now I get to pass out the candy.
That is awesome.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited, man. I cannot wait to be able to pass out the candy for Green Day.
So am I allowed to be there while you pass out the candy?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, so I'm just going, look, now, okay, brothers, what did he do that was right?
That's what he asked the question about.
Okay, no, now one thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to ask questions. The reason why we don't want to ask questions is because they could throw somebody off when you asking them questions when they just trying to talk. Remember, listening is just saying that I am there for you. I don't need to be asking questions. I just need to be able to just be there for you. So the only thing that I need you to do is what? Eye contact, nod your head, right? Nod your head, summarizing what's being said. That means you could have came in and said, Green Day? Right? For real. And then you could have came in and said, what? Oh, that must have been exciting. You must be excited, right? That would tap into me understanding that you are there for me, that you are listening to me. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a science to the listening part. You see? You understand that? Like, and that's how you gotta do it. You just gotta be like right there, just them short phrases, summarizing what's being said, naming what I might be feeling, and empathetic facial expressions. What was the empathetic facial expression that could have came?
Smile.
Right, and like, yeah, like, just feel my joy. When you feel my joy, if I'm telling you something exciting and you looking at me like, I'm gonna be like, brother, your facial expression don't match the information that I'm giving you. Like, you know what, you're not here. Game time, I'm not talking anymore. Another example. Go ahead and tell me something real quick.
Anything?
Yeah. Just tell me about the Green Day.
Green Day. So, that's Green Day. How did it feel?
No, you talk to me. You
Oh, I'm the kid now?
I'm Dad.
Oh, now you're Dad. Oh, Dad, guess what happened today?
Yeah.
I got Green Day at school.
Alright, you ain't listening, I'm going live.
Now spit everything out. Hey, bruh, hey, talk to me. Just say something to me. Just give me a full conversation. Because you said you can do it anyway. You said it don't matter. Brother, they gotta be looking at you or nothing. You can give the conversation. Go ahead, give it to me.
You said today's Sunday. I'm just gonna watch some football. Probably have some coffee when I get back. A couple of cats I talked to. We're gonna have a good day. It's Sunday. NFL's on. You ain't gonna pay attention to me,
I'm glad you said that. Because you said that it's Sunday, you and a couple of guys is gonna get together, watch football, y'all gonna have a good time. You excited about it being football Sunday, right? That's everything that you said. That was the synopsis of what you were saying, right? So what I'm saying, brothers, is this. Just because I do this head nods and wow, must be exciting and things like that, summarizing what's being said, empathetic facial expressions, it doesn't help me to listen more, right? With me doing all of that, what is that doing? It just gives you the information that I am listening. but it doesn't help me to listen more. I can still hear and listen to everything that you are saying without looking at you, without head nodding. When you are doing that, you are doing that for the other person. It's not helping you to get a better understanding. It's just helping the other person to be more confident in continuing to talk. Does that make sense? You can completely be like, I hear people say all the time, man, I used to talk to my dad, he wasn't even looking at me, but he knew everything that I said. But when I wasn't looking, he was like, man, oh brother, you ain't paying no attention to me. No, I was. But because I didn't look like it, you stopped talking. So this is where it gets even deeper. When you make the decision to be like, wow, Green Day, eye contact, nod your head, you are telling that person, this is also for you. You see how that stuff works itself out? So I listen to my children now because I'm just paying the price for them to come to me when they get older. They're not going to come to you when they get older if you have not put in the work. This all takes work.
Doesn't it make you feel good when they come to you when you're older though?
When my son 24, he's come to me and he's like, Dad, man, how do I do this? And I'm able to give him the game, then he applies it and he gets it done. That stuff is a beautiful feeling. Because now he's not going out there and getting low quality information. He's coming to me for the information. It's an open door. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. My daughter's 20 years old, and even when she like her old man goes out on dates, she's like, Dad, you do my hair like you did when I was a kid.
Wow.
You know how good that feels? Like,
No doubt.
You know, to go to
Absolutely.
your mom and do it.
Absolutely.
It feels really, really good. Like,
That's next level, man. Like, that's what it's about.
and then like applying that and even then with like your grandchildren.
Right,
Like,
right.
Even then, like, I'm Allie Buck's favorite person in the world. Like, she'll choose me over mom and daddy.
Wow.
And that's just even more enthusiastic.
That's heavy duty, man. That's what it's all about. That strong, positive relationship. It's paradise. It's paradise. It gives you a pleasure that is parallel to none, right? That's what it's about. So that's why we put in the work. Remember, it's all about what's up here, how we go at it. So when my children are talking, I know that no matter how I feel, it's about what I know. Remember, what dictates your behavior? What do you want to dictate your behavior? Your mind or your feelings?
Mine.
Because if your feelings dictate your behavior, where will you be at in life? Because feelings does not offer any consistency. You need consistency if you want a strong relationship. If you're not consistent, brother, can it? The foundation of a strong relationship is consistency. That's why we move out of our mind and not our feelings. But that's why we continue to get the information to strengthen our minds. And I encourage y'all, brothers, read The Greatest Responsibility. Read it over and over again. Like, don't just let this class end here. Like, continue to dump the information into your head, right? Focus on it. That's what it's going to take. I have the privilege of being able to teach the class and then apply it. Teach it and then apply it. Teach it and then apply it. But if you just take the class one time and then just don't even think about this stuff ever again, what's going to happen? You will forget it. I'm telling you, you will forget it. And when it's time to go ahead and apply it, you will not apply the knowledge that you have received because you didn't focus on it. Repetition. Nothing says mastery like repetition. You gotta put yourself, you gotta continue to repeat this stuff. That's the work that it takes. It's not about can we do it? It's not about should we do it? What is it about?
We will do it.
You the only one that's gonna do it?
No, we'll do it.
This is how we ended the class today. This is how we gonna end the class today. We all gonna say we will do it. We will do it. We will do what is necessary. We will do it. Okay? It's not about can we do it. It's not about should we do it. But it's the only thing that is the question is that will we do it? And at the end of the day, we will do it. Nah, they ain't hear it over there. It's not about can we do it. It's not about should we do it. At the end of the day, is that we will do it, and we will do it.